So when it comes to the character of the Joker, generally speaking, Heath Ledger is in a class all by himself. He ain't in that class by himself no more. What's up everybody, I'm Johnnie Omega and I just got finished watching Joker. And I can honestly say that this movie accomplished the rare task of me having high expectations purely based on who was involved. Having those expectations validated and risen based off the buzz from critics, and then still walking out of this movie thinking it was better than I thought it would be. So the basic premise of the movie Joker revolves around a failed comedian named Arthur Fleck who feels he's been disregarded by society his entire life. Bad things just keep piling up on his life until eventually he begins his slow descent into madness. Starting on what I liked about the movie, let me first start off by saying that all the hype that's being given to Joaquin Phoenix and his performance in this movie, y'all should definitely buy into it because it's real. If I were a betting man, not only would I predict that he's going to be nominated for an Oscar, but I would also put my money down that he's going to win one. And I know that seems a little premature, and I probably wouldn't say that if this movie came out in March or April, but when I think about all the movies that are coming out for the rest of the year and the actors that are in them, I just can't imagine another actor giving a better performance than what I just saw. Not only do I think he's the clear frontrunner in the Oscar race, I don't even think it's close between him and the second best person. And another thing I liked about this movie is something that I generally don't say is a positive, but I usually don't have a problem with it if the overall movie is good, and that's the fact that this movie is a slow burn. Arthur Fleck doesn't just snap and become the Joker, it's a process that happens through the entire movie. And I think Todd Phillips did a good job on showing how society can play a part and how people can become what they are. This movie is a character study, but I think it's also a case study in the age-old debate between nature versus nurture and which one has the biggest impact on how people turn out. And I also think that this movie kind of shows how us as a society can unintentionally most times play a part in how unnecessarily miserable somebody's life can be. It's like when you're teasing somebody at school or you're messing with somebody at a bar. Simply put, you just don't know who you're messing with sometimes and how what you're doing can affect that person. And I think the director Todd Phillips did a great job of taking all that and making this movie ultra grounded and realistic, just in the simple fact that this could actually happen. The Dark Knight movies are grounded in realism too, but there was still that gray area of comic bookiness because the situations in those movies were really only plausible at best because you still had to be super rich to do what Bruce Wayne did. But the way this movie is made, it takes a comic book villain from plausible to possible. I say that to say that even though I wouldn't suggest taking a kid to go see this movie because it's definitely not for kids, I definitely don't agree with the controversy that's going on with this movie either, because at the end of the day, it's just a movie. And yes, this movie is violent, which is exactly why I wouldn't suggest taking kids to go see this, but not only can I think of more violent movies, it's not like this movie is glorifying violence and simply just depicting it. As far as what I didn't like about this movie, absolutely nothing. I loved every second of every minute that I saw. The only thing that I would say though is that there is something that I think that some people probably might not like. And that's the fact that this isn't the type of Joker that you're used to seeing on screen. So if you're going into this movie with preconceived notions or just expectations in general, you're probably going to be disappointed. Those of us that are into comic books and been following the Joker for decades, we already know that the Joker is a homicidal maniac that kills people for fun. There's just no rhyme or reason to what he does. He's just a maniac. But the casual movie fan or someone who hasn't really delved too deep in comic books relating to the Joker, probably gonna look at the Joker poster on the wall and be like, I know who that guy is. When it comes to this movie, no you don't. The best way to describe this movie isn't really to say it's a Joker origin story, more so a movie about a guy with mental illness that snaps. And the facade of Joker is pretty much just the icing on the cake. So in conclusion, the story was great, the acting by Joaquin Phoenix was amazing. My eyes were glued to the screen the entire time. And just to give you an idea of how amazing this movie is, I've already put it at number 3 on my list of all-time favorite comic book movies, and it's number 1 on my list of all the movies that I've seen this year. All that being said, I'd say this movie is Omega level. So comment below and let me know what you guys thought of the movie. And I know I talked earlier about how I think Joaquin Phoenix is going to win an Oscar for his performance in this movie, but I also think this movie as a whole is going to get nominated for Best Picture. I'm not as certain this movie would actually win Best Picture, and it's not because it doesn't deserve it, because it definitely does, but based on my experience, what I usually think is the best movie of the year usually doesn't win the Oscar. It usually just gets nominated, but then something else wins. But in the day and age where up to 10 movies can be nominated for that category, there's absolutely no reason why this movie shouldn't at least get a nomination. Thanks for watching, and if you like what you're seeing, hit that thumbs up and click that subscribe button to see what we got coming next.